Hey guys, how are you today? So I want to try to do more videos and talk to you guys more, inspire you guys more. I know that I learn and I get more inspired too by answering your questions. And so my radio show that I did previously was called Just Show Up with Janine. And so it's kind of similar in that I'm going to be just showing up. And I may start to do some live Facebook videos too and play with that as well. But for now, I'm just going to share a story with you guys about how it is possible to get messages in your dreams. So, a number of years ago, as I was developing my intuitive abilities and doing more and more readings, I had the awareness that I could receive more messages in my dreams. I just had to be willing to receive them. So I basically gave myself permission to receive messages in my dreams because I knew that it was possible, and I decided to be open to that. And that's kind of how I invited the information to come in my dreams. And so with that, one of the first dreams that I had actually that I took action on was a friend of mine who I met at a conference in Dallas. And I'd had this dream that we were on an airplane together and the oxygen masks came down, but we landed and everything was okay. So when I went to message her, I went to Facebook, and we hadn't seen each other in 3 years. It had been 3 years since the conference, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to say to her or even what the dream meant. But I just started typing, and lo and behold, about 20 minutes later, she messaged me back saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm crying." And, she was going through a rough patch in her life. And so it was kind of like she was needing some assistance, but everything was going to be okay. And so I ended up being that for her. And I ended up working with her for the next few months, just helping her transition through all the changes and things that were going on. And it was really, really amazing. So another dream that I had that was kind of mind-blowing to me was a dream where I was in bed and I had all these people in bed with me. It must have been bigger than a king size, because there was myself, there was Wendy was there was an older couple near sleeping against the wall, and I knew that Steven Tyler's daughter was in bed with us as well, but it wasn't Liv Tyler. So in my dream, I had the awareness that I didn't know that he had another daughter, but I knew that this was his daughter. And with that, then I had someone touch my shoulder, reach over and touch my shoulder, and I knew that he was the guitarist from Aerosmith. And honestly, his touch was indescribable. The energy that came from him was everything all in one. It was compassion, it was unconditional love, there was a sexualness to it, and yet not. It's really hard to describe what that energy felt like, but it was amazing. And I started to cry, and he asked me what was wrong, and I told him that I didn't want to be famous. And so he flew out of bed and he says, "What?" He said, "I love being famous." And he started to write me a song. And then he put it in his laptop, and then it started to play. And like everyone in bed kind of oohed and awed over this song that he wrote for me. And I started to cry even harder, like from the depths of me, probably harder than I've ever cried even in real life. And I was so embarrassed. I hid my face because I didn't know all of these people, and I couldn't believe that I was so upset. And he said, "Really, Janine, there's nothing to it." I said, "But I really like my privacy, and sometimes I like to go to the grocery store and not have to stop and talk to everybody, and sometimes I just need my own space." And he said, "That's okay, you can do that too." And so then with that, this blonde, spiky-haired guy came in, and I knew that he was the drummer for Aerosmith. Even though in my dream I was like, I had the knowing, and yet in my head I was like, I have no clue what Aerosmith, the band members, even look like. And then another guy came in, and I believe he was the keyboardist, and the guitarist also showed me his hand, or I noticed his hand, and it was really a large hand. And so the gist of it was that they were telling me that it was no big deal to be famous, and I released a lot on that. So when I woke up, I realized like that I really did have this fear of being famous, and I felt much better. But I was so curious. I had to go to the computer and just see what these band members from Aerosmith looked like. Now, Steven Tyler was not in the dream. It was only the guitarist and the keyboardist and the drummer, and then his daughter, whom I've discovered. I guess she's a plus size model. She was the one that was in bed with me. I had no idea. So this blew my mind with the awareness that I had in my dream. And so if this is something that speaks to you, it is something that is possible for you to do if you're willing to just allow yourself to receive those messages. Now, not all dreams have meaning to me. Sometimes, it's just gibberish and I just know that, like, there's nothing. But when a dream won't leave me, or if there's someone in that dream that I know I haven't been thinking of, or you could be thinking of them, but the dream doesn't leave you for the entire day or the entire morning. It's kind of like your mind just kind of keeps going back to it. So that's a sign that maybe it's somebody who needs you to reach out to them and just give them a hello, or how are you, or what's going on. Maybe they just need a compassionate ear. You just never know. And so that's happened numerous times with me. And so the Aerosmith dream I thought was really, really cool. So fast forward maybe a year or two, I'm actually not sure when exactly I had that first Aerosmith dream. But last spring, when I was in Thunder Bay with Wendy, I had another dream. This time Steven Tyler was in the dream, and so we were having a backyard party and Aerosmith showed up, and Steven said, oh, we were just in town and thought we'd pop by and say hello, and he asked me what my business name was, and I told him that my business name was just me, my personal name. And then I changed it to, well, I have this business partner that we've done things together, and we go by the name of Spiritual Connections. And so he said, you know what, I want you to go see my gal. And he said, so I don't know if she was his publicist or what. And so he sent me over to the equipment truck. So I went over to where they keep all their equipment for when they travel and do their concerts. And she put her hand out, introduced herself to me, and basically asked, what is it that you do? And I said, well, we are mediums and we connect people to the other side. And all of a sudden, I started hearing the Aerosmith song playing, Take Me to the Other Side. And again, in my dream, I'm like, I don't even really know Aerosmith songs. Like, I don't pay much attention. And you can't make this stuff up. This is crazy. So anyway, I woke up from the dream and I say to Wendy, I had another dream about Aerosmith. And so kind of interesting. So I don't know, maybe her and I'll do some live events where we do group readings or whatever, and we call it Take Me to the Other Side. And maybe we'll have Aerosmith's song playing when we open. I don't know. But kind of interesting that it's now twice with Aerosmith. And honestly, like, I'm not a fan, but I'm not like, I don't think I even really haven't ever purchased a CD of Aerosmith's. It's not like I think of them. And like I said, the only person I'd probably know is Steven Tyler. But now I kind of know what the band looks like, obviously, because they introduced themselves to me in the first dream. So that's all that I have to say to you is, pay attention to your dreams. If this speaks to you, or you do have vivid dreams, or maybe you don't dream but you'd like to dream more, give yourself permission to receive messages in dreams. And another good idea is to keep a dream journal. So I've been doing that, and I've been writing down these dreams. I have documented them on my computer too, because they're probably going to go into my next book. The story of them, but they are very interesting to look back on, and see what kind of comes from them and see what information you get. Maybe some guidance for what you're requiring in your life currently. You just never know. So that's all I have for today, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.